make sense? So don't wait. Get the first best pass. It creates closeout problems. It creates closeout basketball. If I hit a pass over here, you all know how hard it is to close out correctly, top foot, and take people to the right spot. It creates issues. When that ball gets moved, people have to play closeout basketball, and we're going to get that dribble to go to the hole, that dribble for the passing angle. We tend to be a ball side first of all. We don't make many extra passes. We want it to happen quickly. And that's why we run the floor. And sometimes it is. Sometimes it's going to happen bang, bang, bang. But there are times in the game, dead ball, when they put their defense back, when we don't have a run out. There's going to be plenty of times when we'll be playing against a set D where we may need to go 5, 6, 7 passes to find that best shot to get some movement where we might try to jackhammer it and it not be there. Does that make sense? There's times for patience. I don't like it very much. I would much rather play speed and be tipping, dunking, knocking loose, playing like a wild man. But to be our best, we have to be able to deal with all situations. Now, here's something else I want you guys to get. Spacing-wise, we do this all the time. I watch us. We are not patient in our cuts. Some mistakes we've been making, because we want it to happen so fast, I may see something and make a cut to this open block. If I don't get it, this cutter stops. And I'll sit there and wait. And I'll sit there and wait. And the guy's out there looking, and we'll wait. Instead of respacing, get some space between each other, and opening up something else for maybe now that post that this guy got his head turned to slip across in that hole. Instead, we'll stop, we'll stare at the ball, and we'll float, and while we're doing that, we clog a flash cut. We've moved the defense, we've caused it to turn its head, we've hit it in the gut, we've sucked it in, but we'll shut down right there, and we've got its head turned, and we don't take advantage of it because the guy stops, and all the defense is here in a minute. So, when you guys play today, this space is the most important thing. If you have one thing, we want people to play this side to this side of the floor to this side of the floor. When I put people down in decent positions and we have good floor space, a step or two outside, when we have, let's say we come down in secondary, this puts them in a much tougher situation. And when I see what I'm looking at in terms of attacking the hole right here, is infinitely better than this when it comes to attacking the hole. And this is why we throw lots of threads and get things on, because we go somewhere, stop, and we wait, instead of quickly respacing and opening those things up. Listen, again, we're talking about what today? Which one of our offenses? Man. Okay? That's important because we'll have a different discussion about zone later. There'll always be an aircraft carrier waiting there in the zone. That you attack it differently. Does that make sense? We're talking about man. You spread that floor, you make them defend 94 feet. Do not let them get away with having to move this far when we can make defenses recover much greater distances. So spacing is vital. Where have we been breaking down in our spacing? Again, we have good initial spacing out of secondary. If you look at what I drew right here, this looks a lot like secondary coming down, doesn't it, for round one. And we keep this good initial spacing. Remember, we always talk to you about how important it is to come ball side, how important it is to give an outlet pass. We come down spaced, and then one or two passes in, we make cuts and start slowing down and waiting, or slowing down and stopping, or slowing down. And pretty soon, instead of our spacing looking like it was right there, pretty soon our spacing starts looking like one there. Maybe we have one, we probably got another one sitting here hanging somewhere, and maybe somebody kind of out here. But the defense is getting away with a lot more ability to place. Does that make sense? We've got the athletes that can actually get up and scoring sometimes in these situations, but it is not ideal. So, when I get spacing in my head, and why? To make them defend that whole 94 feet, to create closeout situations, To not let them get away with moving here to here, but having to go, oh crap. Clay, you know how hard it is to close out, and all of a sudden we're breaking them down to defend this whole stinking thing. We have to have in our mind space. We also have to have in our mind first best pass. We can't get to a spot wherever it is, have the ball right here, have 1,000, 1,002. We think we're open. Maybe we don't see this help side guy that we know we can't throw the lob for. Does that make sense? You don't have that vision right here. All you're seeing is the ball and not wondering why you're getting it. But if he's waiting right there and he don't have it, if he would move, if he would back screen, if he would come up here to create a pass, maybe there's a slip, maybe there's a dive, maybe there's something coming, attacking that basket, attack. Instead of sitting there holding, waiting, letting that defense shift, letting it get over here and get a hold of us. It's so important. 1,001, 1,002, unless we've got a cog lock on the block, okay? And then move. Now, here's some rules that are going to help you in your mind. And as Coach tells you, I want you to remember, because he's going to talk about them as you play your motion offense during the year. There are, I always used to say 7. I included 8 by breaking one of them in 2, okay? Now, this is our motion. Why do we run motion? Is it freelance? No. Is it set? No. So set, if it's not set, that means it's freelance and I go wherever I want to, right? No. There are still good things that you can do and good things not to do. Here are the 8 things you can do, and here's the most important. Pass and basket cut. How hard is it to train yourself to jump to the ball? It's unbelievably hard. What did we get on to up here the other day about constantly letting the defense cross or the offense cross our face and get the slots to relieve pressure? You can't do it. If you'll hang with me this second, guys, you're going to turn loose and play. But these things, if you get these things in their mind, they'll help you a ton. Basket cut. It sucks the defense in. It's like hitting it in the gut. It forces them to defend the basket. If we just screen away, if we just go away, if we just replace ourselves, if we just play outside this 3-point line running around out here, and we don't attack this, that defense will come further and further out. They'll get further and further in the passing lanes. They'll make our jobs harder and harder, and it'll be harder and harder to move the ball, and we'll find ourselves playing offense out here. I can't enter the ball to the post from half court or from 10 steps off the 3-point line or 7. Does that make sense? So to keep that down, you have got to constantly have that slashing cut that we've opened up on purpose with our great spacing that we said that is ideal, that you want. Okay? That I've got a nice open area here that if this guy leaves, there's not 2 other people standing there clogging up and 2 defenders. I've got cuts that I can bring in there. So the basket cut is the best one that you can make. It's like hitting that defense in the gut. But once you make it, don't stop. Don't make that cut. We want it to happen so fast. Oh, I basket cut. I feel like I'm open. He didn't hit me. Oh, he didn't hit me, but I'm going to wait on it. I'm still here. We may miss you. We're going to miss cutters. We're going to miss, maybe I'm getting bothered at the time. Maybe whatever. My eyes weren't there. Things are open only for a moment. If we miss that moment, it's okay. There's going to be another moment right behind it if we keep moving. You understand? We've still got the ball. We can still score this possession. If he's open, get it to him. If we can't, move on. Don't wait. So when you basket cut, hurry to respace. The second thing you can do, and this is where we've got to grow. We've got to know who we are. We've got to become more efficient here. As you guys go up and start playing, and Coach corrects these things that makes you come in here, remember, if I just pass the ball here and my defender does a decent job and keeps me from basket cutting, now I can screen away. I never see this out of us, and we've got to get here. What I see is people moving at the same time. When a pass is made, All these things are eight things in motion when a pass is made. When passes are made, there's one catcher, and there's four other guys that are reading each other and the defense and trying to make the best decision to attack it. One catcher, looker, the other four guys, cutting, screening, backing, reading, attacking that basket. Does that make sense? Now, as I do that, one of the things I can do is I can go screen away for somebody. But it doesn't do any good if this guy doesn't see the screen. No, it's happening. He's made a pass. He can't cut. So he says, I'm going to go screen. How do we signal screens? How many times do we see this during a game? That's something we've got to get better at. Hey, I've got you right here. Walk in, come up, and then when my man helps, the slip to score. Great attack. Screeners go opposite. We got to signal it. We got to screen. What's another thing you can do? Well, maybe there's nobody over here to screen. I can just go away and replace myself in space. But we tend to want to float. We'll take 2 or 3 steps. We'll start easing towards the basket. We'll be looking weak, and we're starting to make our smaller and smaller area that they get to defend. So if it meant get out of there, go away, go ball side, cut through, and get out. Okay? You can replace yourself. We see we're in trouble. Remember, this is the most important spot on the floor, and it causes us to replace ourselves more than any other. Why is this most important? When we're playing offense and I see us get here, 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 and here, for instance, I get nervous. Why? If nobody's here. Huh? We'll give a layup. There's no reversal. There's nobody here. It's going to be very hard. This guy's going to have to wait for somebody to come up to give him a passing angle that he can actually hit. So we go into stagnant mode. And we don't have, if there's a shot and a long rebound, they're going to get a run out, it's going to be very difficult for us to prevent a layup on the other end. This spot, and this is not the spot, it's anywhere in this upper area, always needs somebody in. So, if I start to go away, I can't basket cut, they cut it off. Can't do that. Start to go away, there's really nobody to screen. If I see nobody's left, if I cut off and nobody's going to be up there, I can replace myself off a cut and face cross. Now notice so far we've just talked about the guy's ball side. Here's where you guys are breaking down just a little bit. These guys over here have to look and see, how is the shooter, how's Austin going to get a shot at the top of the key off of a screen if he doesn't know the screen's coming? So if you just go away with your hand down, how can he set his man up to come off of it? Can't. So Austin, let's say Austin's standing over here, A's over here. He's reading. If he sees the basket cut, he knows he's got to make a cut to the top. True? Let's say this guy that's here passes, starts to go away, can't, and comes to screen away. What's the only way he knows to set his man up? He's reading this guy. He read him the first time on the cut and field. Now he's reading, uh-oh, he's coming to get me. I got to set my guy up. Maybe Austin is going to have to come high and create a passing angle. Maybe our buddy started away and comes back and replaces himself. And Austin, what's he going to do? Maybe he's going to come up and hold space and replace himself. But he's always going to be behind what he's doing because he's got to read it. Guess how many times you all read? Guess how many times this guy is moving independently of this guy with no idea of where he's going or what he's doing or what he's thinking? Most times. Good motion has a heartbeat, a rhythm. And there, this comes back into it, Andy. This 2 seconds. 1,001, 1,002, go. One guy catching, 4 guys moving. Here's the other things you can do. You can receive a screen. Let's say Austin's up here on top. We know he can shoot it. Luke's on top. We know he's got it. We got Garrett for a screen. Somebody's on top. they can take away my cut, there's nothing there, and I know I've got a shooter, I can receive a screen, whether it's a flare as well. So not only can I screen, but I can call for a screen. And this guy, if he's reading, should see who it is up here. If we're looking and trying to read this guy, we know who it is. And if it's one of our shooters, you know what we should do to attack the defense and put pressure on them? Have you noticed they've started to guard us very closely in some situations? Trying to take away what we don't want to let that happen we want to take advantage of it. If they're going to guard us closely, then we'll pull people to us and open up the middle and let everybody else slice their hearts out. Now I know it's not great to talk about, but you can't continue to go up and not think. Weak side reads ball side. You do not move at the same time. 4 people move on the pass. But to move together, there has to be somebody reading the other, and it's the ball side reading the defense that determines what they're going to do. Now, in our motion offense, here's the things we leave out. They're not bad. One of them's bad. After you pass, this is the worst one to do. Never, ever stand. The defense drops off, and they know right where you're at. You're letting them get away with murder. 2, you could ball screen. We could pass. Now notice this is strong side. I can pass to him and then come over here. We're not going to do that in our motion. Why? It brings my defender, especially as you start playing athletes late, it brings another defender over here that can jump something. I would much rather have Austin right here one-on-one with the ability to do that first dribble. Now that's to the hole. We're going to the hole, remember? Not to down here, not to up here, not to looking for something, to the hole. But if we leave this guy one-on-one, I like our athletes and our drivers and some of the people we've got to get to the hole versus the people if they're not snoozing. We're not going to take another defender in our motion. Coach will sometimes. We'll call it. There'll be situations, but when that happens, it's a call. Don't do it in our motion. Don't ball screen in motion unless coach specifically tells you upstairs, this is the time. Now, if they decide not to guard Andy, and they're playing a guy off in the middle and say they don't want to guard him on the perimeter, now he's what we call a free screen. If Andy goes to screen that guy, is there any defender to carry on? No, that's different. That makes sense? You got to know when you're a free screen. You're not taking a defender over there then. All right? We also could get a dribble handoff like the weave up top. We're not going to do that in motion. That'll also be a call by coach. Of all the things you can do, which is most important by far? Why? It keeps the defense from, as we move, if we don't attack this basket with our cut, they'll come further and further and further out, push us further and further, and all we'll do, you ever hear coach say we're playing pity-pat around the perimeter or we're playing on the perimeter? When we're playing on the perimeter, it means we have not attacked the basket with basket cuts enough. This one's the most important, and everything else will feed off of it. Get the first best pass, even if it doesn't look like it's an immediate score, and you'll be astonished at how our good goes to best. And we start getting people, instead of having to make unbelievable moves that we're able to make in lots of times, we'll be making unbelievable clean dunks, unbelievable clean layups, unbelievable clean threes. We need more screens right now. We don't have many. We need better spacing. What is breaking our spacing down? We're cutting and thinking it's going to happen instantly. When you cut and don't get it, what do you want to do instantly? Go back out faster than you went in. Slow down in the score. Don't blow through the scoring area. Cut hard, slow down in the scoring area, speed back up, get out. If you don't have it. You understand? This is man. Another day, we'll talk about zone. But as you guys go upstairs, we're breaking tons of the rules. If you think we're doing these things, now these things I'm telling you will help you be more efficient. They are more effective than playing stacked D's because we haven't got spacing. And we're only making them move that far and defend that far. Okay? Make them defend the whole floor. Put those things in your hearts and heads as you go up there. And I know you're going to forget them. But once they're in there, he can very quickly remind you, oh yeah. And you have to understand why things are best. Okay? What's the most important spot? Not only for reversal, but for layup prevention. We can't give up fours and win. That spot prevents fours. Keep somebody in at all times. That general area. Does it have to be dead on top? Anywhere up here works. Okay? General area. Have a good one. Get out of each other.
That's good. Hey.